Hi. Nice. So I've been wanting to talk about this topic for a very long time, and I thought while I'm trapped in the house, I might as well talk about it now. I've talked about this before, but I've always wanted to dedicate a whole video to it, which is film photography. So this is just going to be like super broad, super general, but I'm going to be talking about what cameras I use, what films I use, and how I scan my negatives. So I don't know how long this video is going to get. It could get super long, so I'm gonna have timestamps down below so you can jump to whatever part you want to hear me blabber about. First, I'm gonna be talking about what cameras I use. I have two point and shoots and two manual cameras. I'm not gonna be talking about the point and shoots too much just because I don't really lean towards them. They're better for like vacations or like in the moment type stuff, or I would even like compare it to when you would want to use like a disposable camera. But I have these two. This one I picked up from a Savers for $3, and this one was handed down to me by my grandpa. I will say I prefer the Olympus one, but honestly, like, there's not a lot of settings. It is what it is. I'd say if you're like someone who's transitioning from using disposable cameras into using a point and shoot, definitely go look at thrift stores. Maybe not right now, or even online. They're pretty dang cheap, and they all do the trick. And you may ask yourself, why would I do that when I could just use a disposable camera? Because they're disposable. You use them once and you throw an entire camera away. So why do that when you can have a camera forever and just get whatever film you want to use? Now, I'm going to be talking about what manual cameras I use. I'll talk about this one first. This one is a Konica FS1. This one was my mom's. I'm very fortunate that my grandpa has kept all of everyone's past cameras. This one is manual, but it's also automatic in the sense that it rolls the film for you, so you don't have to like pull back the lever. I'm so bad with my terminology, but as you're shooting and you press the shutter, it rolls to the next like exposure, so that makes things super easy. So for me, it feels like the in-between of a point and shoot and a manual camera. You have the ability to point and shoot, and then it automatically rolls into the next exposure. But my thing with it is that you can't put the shutter release cable. So if you ever wanted to use that for long exposures, that kind of sucks. There could be camera shake. It's nice, it's simple. This has been my go-to camera for a bit. But I also love my Minolta SRT 101. My uncle gifted this to me in London. We were walking around Portobello Road, Portobello Market. My goal for my London trip was to find a really nice manual camera. So we found this one. I will say it was a little bit overpriced, but I think it's well worth the money. Like, you can tell the difference between when I shoot with this camera and with this camera. I would say my best photos have come from using this camera, to be honest. You can definitely find this camera online somewhere. My friend got a really good deal for his, and it came with like a case and lenses and stuff like that. Mine only came with this nifty case, and that's all. And I will say, I'm not sure if all models are the same, but this one is really hard to find the battery for. I'm pretty sure like they don't even make the battery anymore, or you have to like special order it. But basically, the light meter doesn't work. So I have to use an app in order to light meter things, which makes this harder to use, but the results are well worth it if you have like really planned out shots. I'd say point and shoot if you really want to take photos in the moment, or if you're really planning out things and like setting things up and it's more staged and you have the time to like set your camera, then definitely go for a manual. Who's a manual? That was pretty easy, that was pretty quick. So now I'll talk about the film that I use. I'm actually a black and white film photographer. I find it weird to call myself a photographer because I feel like I'm not. I'm not worthy enough to give myself that label, but that's a whole other topic. I do shoot in black and white, so I'm not very helpful when it comes to color. I'm that person that if I shoot with color, I'm using Portra 400. Very basic. What can I say? I have used 3 different types of... Actually, I've used quite a few different types of black and white film. My go-to is the Tri-X 400 by Kodak. That's a basic one that they told us to use in black and white photography, but I will say that I really love Ilford HP5. That one in combination with this camera made my favorite photos that I've ever taken. Like, they look so good, I'm not gonna lie. Right now I have Ilford 100 speed something in here, I forgot the name of it. But I'm trying that out for the first time just because my friend accidentally bought it and then he gave it to me because he doesn't shoot in black and white, so lucky me. If you want to try out black and white, then definitely try the Ilford HP5. I prefer it over Kodak Tri-X 400. Nobody's asking, but I want to like talk about why I choose black and white instead of color. Black and white is what I started with. That's how I learned how to shoot film. And hi, hello, this is editing me. I've always wanted to do this, so I guess this video is a bunch of firsts. Am I right, ladies? But basically, I didn't get to explain myself well enough the first time I filmed this, so I'm coming back at you trying to tell you why I choose black and white film. I learned how to shoot film in school using black and white, and I learned how to develop film and make prints in a dark room only using black and white. I never had the opportunity to use color negative film in a lab, so I feel like the problem with that is that now that I shoot in color, I don't know how to act. I feel like there's too many options. I hate having too many options. Even when I'm painting, I used to watercolor paint for a really long time, and I would be given like a huge palette of different colors and I wouldn't know what to do with myself. So whenever I use watercolors, I only limit myself to red, yellow, and blue. So I guess that also applies to film. Moral of the story, why I shoot black and white is because I don't like having options, and I like to connect it back to what I learned in school because I love the darkroom. So yeah, that is that. I'm also a firm believer that if you want to edit your film photos, you should. I say that because like when you shoot and you bring the roll to a lab, the way the lab processes it affects the way your photos look. So you're never gonna have like a true vision of what the image is like. So you might as well like edit it to how you remember it. And if you want to edit it, go crazy, go stupid. Or if you just want to edit it slightly to get rid of dust and just tweak the colors a little bit to how you remember it, that is also, I would say, acceptable. Even in a lab, you can change the contrast. That's what filters are for. You can burn, you can dodge. You can literally do so much in a darkroom, so why not edit it on a computer? Now that that rant is over, time to talk about how I scan. I use negative sleeves. Right now I'm labeling it so I know what images are from what day. These sleeves in particular have 7 rows and they hold 5 images per row, or 5 exposures. You get 36 images in a roll of film, so it doesn't make sense to me why you can only hold 35, but I guess it is what it is. So yeah, I cut it down into 5 exposure long segments, and then I put it in the negative sleeve, which is how I store my negatives, and then I put them all in a binder. Now I load the film strips onto the carrier that came with my scanner. It scans from right to left, so I put the first strip on the right, shiny side down, and then I put the second on the left, so everything is in order. Easy peasy. And then I line up the holder onto the scanner. There's divots in the scanner that help you line it up. Oh, I've made this mistake a couple times, but there's a white backing that comes with the scanner. You need to remember to take it off before you scan your negatives, otherwise it's gonna scan the white background. Common sense does not come to me naturally. To scan, I use the Epson scanning software. I'm pretty sure it's Epson Scan 2, and then I make sure to scan a preview of it first before committing to scanning the whole thing, because with the DPI that I use, like the resolution, it takes quite a long time. I will have all the settings for how I scan in the description, by the way, just in case you're curious. But yeah, that is how I scan. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was informative. I hope you learned a thing or two. I hope you all take care. Wash your hands like everybody else has been saying. Stay home. If you have the choice to stay home, please stay home. I will see you guys very soon. Bye!